Hey guys, so I put a poll out on the community tab a few days ago asking if I should do a foster care update here on the channel or on one of my other channels. I have like a homeschool channel and then like a random channel that I've put videos on, but probably not for the last like 6 to 9 months. Anyway, enough of you said that I should do it here, that I'm doing it here, but I know some of you are only here for bookish things, so I thought I would do both. I'm going to give a little foster care update, and then I'm going to share some of my favorite books that have to do with foster care. But first I want to do a little update because I know some people will be coming over from my blog and only care about the fostering side of things. Some of you will also only care about the bookish side of things. So for the books, I'll leave a timestamp here to tell you like where you should jump to for the books. So normally I just post foster care updates on my blog, which is anintentionallife.me. But this time around, like, I haven't posted an update since February, and I felt like I needed to like verbally process what I wanted to say. I am very much a verbal processor. Sometimes it works to type it out and I can process that way. Sometimes I need to like talk to Jared and I'm like in the middle of a thought and then I figure out my problem and then I never even finish my sentence and go off and do my thing. So instead of like verbally processing to Jared, I get to do it to you guys today. Okay, so I have talked about fostering quite a bit on my channel, especially since I have been reading quite a few fostering books lately. But we have been fostering now for just over a year and a half. And we've had our current placement, our foster son, since February of last year. And then in February of this year, well, like end of January, it looked like he'd be going home in February. And then instead, the very first week of February, we got his sister, who was 5 months at the time. And that's where we're currently at. We currently have both of them still, and people are often asking me like for updates, like first of all, do you still have them? Yes. And then like what's the plan from here? Where are things going? And that is where I needed to like talk this out because I don't know where things are going from here. Honestly, the social worker hasn't even really given us a plan, and even if she had, I don't know if I would believe it. Because it's so up and down. There have been times where it's like, okay, so these certain things have to happen and then they can go home, and those things don't happen, so it keeps getting pushed off. And plus there's so many things that I can't say, like I can't give specifics, which is fair. I don't need to. But when we first got, okay, so foster son, we call him R2D2, and then online here. And then his sister is BB8. So I'm just going to use those names because that is less confusing. So R2D2 has been with us for over a year now. And then when we got BB8, the idea was that she would slowly transition home first because she hadn't like bonded with us that much. She hadn't been with us that long. Whereas R2, he has been with us for a year. He is very reserved and attached to us and really only knows us as parents. So the idea was that she would go home first and then see how that goes, and then he would be a slower transition home. And that totally made sense to me. Like I'm 100% behind that. But then kind of like things with birth family didn't end up working out. I don't really know. They still could. Our system in Saskatchewan is very much the emphasis is on family, birth family, not even necessarily birth family, it could be like friends of the family, but it's very much like on parents and family, and the emphasis is not on the children in foster care. This has been my biggest struggle, and I knew it going into fostering, but my thought was, you know, like it's not the kids' fault that our system is messed up. Like they still need people here rooting for them, and I want to do that, but I knew I was going to struggle with this, and 100% this is the case. With our first placement, we had 2 brothers we called Buzz and Woody. Things went very different there. They were with us for 3.5 months, and we were kind of told like they would slowly transition home. Like first they'd have day visits and then they'd have overnight visits, and like it would be a process. We were told this on a Tuesday. Then the Friday morning, like, you know, 3 days later, we were told, okay, they're going home and I can pick them up in an hour. And like, that was our warning. So with that being our previous experience, we kept expecting R2 to go home. Like, things were going well. We just thought, yeah, like, he's going home anytime. And so it's been like this. There's been certain people that have been interested, family or family that have been interested, and like we kept thinking, yeah, like, he's gonna be gone. And yet here we are, you know, 15 months later, and he is still with us. So this has not been the same kind of experience that we had last time. And that is also kind of hard to wrap my mind around because I can't prepare for anything. Like, I'm okay with being flexible in life, but it's really hard not to know, like, week to week how many kids are going to be in your home. So really this is an update to say, yes, they're still with us, but we have no idea for how long. Like, even if I was told a date, I don't even know if I would believe it. So yeah, this is kind of where we're at right now. This is life, and who knows how long we'll be in this kind of situation. I wanted to share a little bit of an update because I have been thinking about sharing a little bit more about our fostering journey here on the channel. I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep this just bookish. I have like my homeschool channel for homeschool things, and I'm good with keeping that separate. But I also feel like it's important to share our fostering journey because it is something I feel passionate about, but it's not like the thing I feel passionate about. I would love for our journey to inspire other people to foster, and not necessarily because I think everyone needs to, or because I think we're doing an amazing job so everyone else should do it too, but at least in our province, and I assume most places in the world, there's a definite need for it, and I would like to see more families step up. At least, you know, and the thing to think about that I've been thinking about over the last year and a half is just because you start fostering doesn't mean you have to do it forever. Like, it can be a season, and that is kind of something I would like to talk about a little bit more. So yeah, I'm not sure. There may be more foster care updates here. They may just continue to be on the blog, except for this one that's just like a random update. The only thing with video is that sometimes as I'm editing the video, I'm like, oh, I should have mentioned this thing. So I am going to share this video in a blog post on my website, and I'm probably going to have a section titled like things I forgot to mention in the video, and I'll put some stuff in there, all the things I forgot to mention right now that I'm definitely not remembering. But yeah, that's kind of a brief update. Now, I know a bunch of you are interested in foster care. Either, you know, you want to do it in the future, or some of you were fostered as children, some of you have been foster parents, some of you just think it's interesting. So I thought I would share some of my favorite books about foster care. These are fiction stories. They're actually all middle grade, and I'm sticking with ones that I have read in the last year and a half because I have read some like before we started fostering, but I was looking at them through a different lens, and I'm not sure if I would like or dislike them, like if my ratings would change now that we've kind of like been in the system a bit. I have 4 on my lap, and there's another one for sure that I don't own that I want to share about, and I think there was another one that I'm currently not remembering because my brain is just overloaded these days. But let's just start with the top of the list. The first one here is Wish. This one, and actually one of the other ones on here, oh no, not one of the ones on here, but another one that I was going to mention. It's about a girl. She's not necessarily in the foster care system. I mean, social services is involved, but she actually goes and lives with family. And this story is really about her kind of like transitioning to living in a different town and wanting her mom to get her feet under her, I think is the terminology that they use, and she deals with a lot of anger issues, and we listened to this as an audio book, like the entire family, and we all really liked it. So this is a recommendation. And then this one I just recommended to my daughter yesterday, the day before, and she came up this morning and said she finished it, and this is the best book she's ever read. This is Pictures of Hollis Woods, and so it's about a girl, Hollis Woods, obviously, who has been in so many foster homes she can hardly remember them all. And there's flashbacks in here. Like, this is a book where you kind of feel confused through a lot of the book, and Rika mentioned this yesterday. She's like, I don't really know what this is about, and I said just stick with it because it all comes together so nicely at the end. And yeah, this morning she said it was amazing, 5 stars, one of her favorite books, possibly the best book. Yeah, so this girl goes and lives with a woman who is kind of like getting dementia or something like that, and she doesn't want social services to find out. And she had previously run away from her foster home, and there's like that stuff going on there, and I don't really want to say too much because it comes together so nicely in the end. Yeah, so loved this one. And then this one is not really a foster care book, but this is Ruby Holler. It's about siblings who go and live with an older couple for the summer, and then they each go on these adventures. So like one kid goes off on an adventure with the woman and one goes off with the man. These kids both have like trauma from like past situations, and I feel like these older people are, I don't know, I looked up to them as kind of how I want to be as a foster parent, and it wasn't like my favorite book ever, but I did feel inspired when I was reading it. One I read lately is Forever or a Long Long Time, and this one is marketed as a middle grade book, but I feel like it's a little heavy for middle grade. My daughter I think will probably read it in a couple of years, but I felt like this one focuses actually on a girl and her brother, but the girl especially is our main character, and they've both been adopted out of foster care now. They've been adopted for a couple of years, but she has so much trauma, and the book is really about her working through this trauma. And I don't know, maybe it wouldn't hit everyone the same way it hit me, but this girl in this book reminded me 100% of our first foster boy, like the older one, of Buzz. And when I was reading it, my heart was just breaking. And that is another thing. There's a whole element in foster care called compassion fatigue. So our first placement, the last I heard, they're back in care. Of course, my battery died. Yeah, so the girl in here reminds me of Buzz. And our home is full. They're back in care. And the struggle of reading her story, which I feel like is so much his story. And my heart breaking because I know we can't have him back in our home, him and his brother. And just watching her go through this trauma and like figure out where her trauma has come from. It just hit me so hard because it was so real, and I could picture this main character as a real person that I know. And yeah, like this is the best book about foster care that I've ever read. And then another one that I wanted to mention that I read is it's called Closer to Nowhere. This is a middle grade free verse novel that flips back and forth between two main characters. One is a girl who lives with her parents, and the other one is her cousin who comes to live with her because of his family situation. So it's like foster care once again, but it's within family. And yeah, I loved that one as well. It was a good look at kind of like a biological child and their feelings in regards to having a foster kid, or you know, a different kid coming to the home, and just some of the struggles that they had between them, but then also seeing their bond grow. I really enjoyed that. I would love to hear, what are your favorite books about foster care, or that have to do with kids in foster care? I know there's a lot of like middle grade books kind of like about found family and that kind of thing. I was trying to be specific and just do like foster care stuff, and then just ones I had read in the last while. There's a couple I would like to reread. There's a couple people have recommended to me that I haven't read yet. But yeah, I would love more recommendations. And yeah, if you're interested in books about foster care, definitely recommend these. And I would love to hear if you would be interested in more fostering updates, or if I should just keep blogging about it. It depends. I might just do whatever it is I feel like anyway. But yeah. This was kind of a bonus video. I'm just doing Monday videos right now, but I'm throwing this one up as an extra video on Friday, or I think Thursday. I don't know what day I'm throwing this up on. Whatever day it's going live. Yeah, so I'll be back next week with a regular bookish video. Thanks for watching, guys.